How you doing, gamers? Welcome back. We've got episode 2 of our Gray Zone Warfare Starter Series. Today we're going to be looking at medical items and provisions and how to use them, when to use them, and which ones to use. So, whether you're a new player or a returning player, stick around and see if you learn something. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for showing up. This is the second one of the series. The first one got a great reception. It is a privilege to be able to keep putting these out for you guys and maybe help you with something that you hadn't known yet. So if it does and you do like it and it has taught you something, please hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below with something that you may not have known or something that you already knew that maybe somebody else doesn't that I haven't covered in these. But right now, we're going to get right into it. It's no mystery that Gray Zone Warfare has a ton of information that you've got to learn to digest, to really come to terms with in order to be good at this game. And the medical system is no different. So today we're going to cover the provisions, which cover energy and hydration, and then we're going to cover medical items and the healing system. It's a pretty complicated one, so take notes because there might be something you're missing that could just change your game. First of all, to understand the real meaning behind some of these medical items and how they interact with your injuries, you need to learn how the ballistics work in this. Now, I will be covering that in a later episode of this series, but today we're going to talk about the actual medical treatments and what they treat. It is not obvious, it is not upfront, so I highly recommend you pay attention. We have a couple of tools to talk about today that are really going to help you understand and remember what to do. First one I want to talk about is a graph that I found on Reddit, okay? So this graph was posted by a member named A Tactical Dad, and he originally uploaded this to grayzonewarfare.net, okay? This is not an official Gray Zone Warfare website, but it is another one of those really helpful internet tools that I talked about in my first episode, like a wiki or a map genie. This has a whole bunch of reference on it, has a lot of helpful tools like this in their forum, and this is another one that he gave me permission to use. I will link below this post and that website so that you have something to look to whenever you have these questions. But today we're going to discuss this quick reference guide, and then we're going to talk about the provisions after the medical. First, I want to talk about this priority guide, okay? So first of all, you've got pain. You want to use painkillers first if you need to stay in combat and cannot perform medical treatment. Okay, this does not stop blood loss. That is an important one to know. You cannot just pop a pill and be right back into things if you're bleeding really heavily. It will help you get out of a pinch. It will not fix you up entirely. Biggest priority is stopping the bleed, okay? This one, you're going to want to have a tourniquet of some sort, and there are multiple kinds of tourniquets in the game, MFATs, CTs, and then there are also bandages and gauze that are going to help with light bleeds and other heavy bleeds. You got to read the descriptions on them and really know how to address what you have an issue with. You're going to know the severity of your bleed based on how many drops are in the icon on your health page, okay? You want to really pay attention to that. Prioritize your bleeds. Next, when you are coughing or you have a yellowed out organ, you will need to use either a suture kit or a surgery kit. This also goes for when a teammate is downed and in coma. You want to use a suture kit or surgery kit to get them back up. Now, you have to remember that suture kit or surgery kit needs to be in your rig or in one of your pockets to use. So make sure if you're in PvP combat, you have those at the ready to use if you have people on your team. Secondly, blood. This game doesn't necessarily use an HP system like most other games would. See, in Escape from Tarkov, you have a certain amount of hit points on your head that if your head gets blacked out and takes one more point of damage, you die. This is different, okay? You don't get blacked out limbs or body parts in this. You lose blood over time, or you lose an overall amount of blood. And if that amount of blood drops below 4750, you are going to get dizzy and you're going to start getting nauseous, and the screen effects are going to start pulsing and blurring, and the bloodshot is going to come in, and it's just not going to be a good situation. Have a blood bag on you just in case. You will regain blood over time But if you're in a pinch and you just get enough time to heal up before enemies are pushing you again, you need to have a blood bag. All of these medical items are better to have and not need than need and not have. So don't forget that. As far as bones, when you see a bone that is yellowed out, it is broken, okay? This will reduce your overall stamina, whether it's arm stamina or running stamina. You can tell by the two bars that are on either side of the icon in the top left corner of your HUD. You will see a portion of it that is filled with red. That means it cannot regain past that point because of how many broken limbs you have. Splint those to fix them. Under character, when you switch from gear to health, you can drag and drop these medical items onto the affected area to spot treat it. So if you have a broken leg and you're trying to get away, but you're also light bleeding somewhere else, or you have a broken arm, instead of just using a splint and it automatically going to your arm, you can drag it to a bone that's broken on your leg and fix that first so you can get away. Just like everything else in Gray Zone, you want to be strategic with how you're using these, okay? I always keep at least 2 of every minor medical item on me, and then for a serve kit or a suture kit and a blood bag, I always keep one of those in my safe compartment. So I always have everything I need in order to get out of a pinch or to heal myself or a teammate while I'm out in the field. Which brings me to my next point. You can administer first aid to your teammates, and it is actually faster than doing it on yourself. So sometimes if your teammate gets rocked and they are in shambles and you get their cover and they're over there bleeding, you can go over, help them get back to full health so that you can both move on and get to the next phase. I will tell you right now, before you can help somebody, whether it is healing them, whether it is suturing them, whether it is stopping bleed, it doesn't matter. Before you can help them with each action, you have to re-examine them every time. That means you move up to them, highlight them, and press F to select examine. That will go through a progress bar, and when that progress bar is finished, it will show what is wrong with them. When you are fixing them up, always stop the bleed first. Because if you don't stop a bleed and you pick them up, that bleed will knock them immediately as soon as that's done. So you always stop the bleed first, whether it's yourself or your teammate. A couple of tips to remember. 1, your quick menu. If you hold down H, which is what the heals are initially bound to, is H. If you hold down H, it will bring up a menu that you can scroll through to choose which item you want to use. But if you just hit H, it will use the last one you used. You can use meds on injuries you don't have. So you need to pay attention to what you have, what med you're using, and if that's really what you need. There are other items that help you to consolidate space, such as MFACs or QR kits. There's also a red hard case that you can fit 2 in one slot. In your locker, you can use an EMT bag that's going to help work almost like an ammo case where you can fit a whole bunch of meds into a smaller area. Helps you keep your locker organized. Remember, prioritize bleed first, suture for cough, splint for breaks, and replenish blood below 4750. It's faster to heal friends than for friends to heal themselves, and you cannot quick use meds if they are not in your rig or pockets. Again, this is a tough one for a lot of people to get because it is a very complicated medical system. So if there are any questions you still have after watching this, feel free to watch it again. Feel free to pause it so you can take notes. Again, I'm going to be linking this quick reference guide. Also, ask the questions in the comments. I'm here to help. This is why I make these guides, so that new players or returning players or people that just don't know can ask these questions and get those answers, because we all want to have fun on Lemeng. So that brings me to my next point, which is the easy one for the day. Provisions, okay? Very simple system. You have a hydration and you have a energy bar. These are affected by whatever kind of provision you can find. It is that simple. You open up the inspect on the item and it will show you how much charge each one will give or take. So you have to pay attention to that. Some foods will take hydration, so you want to make sure that you have enough to dedicate to that. If you go long enough without these, it can kill you. So don't do that. It's not fun. However, a lot of times you find enough food and drink while on deployment that it doesn't really matter. You don't really have to worry about this. But that's really going to conclude our second episode of our starter series, our medical items and our provision items and how to use them and what they do. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments and watch these videos. I've got more coming out. Again, this is only the second episode, so stay tuned and I'll have more information coming your way. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode. Thank you.